Being able to change your own wheel is something that everyone should be able to do in case of an emergency. So in this video, I'm going to be walking you guys step by step on how to do that. Alright guys, so I'm just going to get straight into it. Let's just imagine that this tire over here was flat. So the first thing we have to do is open up our trunk. Over here, you should find all the tools you need if you haven't touched these before. So I'm going to take these out and show you exactly what you need. So guys, I just took all the major things we need out of the trunk. So the first thing we need is a car jack so that we can lift up and put the car back down. We also have this tool to help us use the car jack. This goes through here and it helps us spin it to lift up the car when there's so much weight on it. And then we have this to take off and put the lug nuts back on. So starting off, we're gonna use this to loosen all our lug nuts. We're just gonna attach it on like this. And in a moment, I'm gonna show you how to actually use it because we're gonna have to step on it. And that's because there's gonna be so much resistance and torque on these lug nuts. Alright guys, I'm just gonna quickly show you how to do one, and then the rest of them I'll speed up in the video so that I'm not wasting your time. So over here, what you wanna do is just grab this and slide it in just like that. And then from the top, we're gonna come over here and kick our leg down on it, just like this. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Sometimes it takes a little bit more force, but now that it's loose, I can use my hands. And right now, we're not gonna fully take them off. We just wanna loosen them so that we don't have any trouble later after we lift up the car. So over here, all I'm doing in the video is just cracking loose the rest of the lug nuts so that we can move on to the next step, which is jacking up the car, lifting it up so that we could take the wheel off. Alright, so that's all 5 lug nuts, and we just want to loosen them for now and then we'll take them off later. So now we're going to be lifting up the car using this car jack, and this step is really important because we need to make sure that we align this properly with the lifting point. If it's not properly underneath the lifting point, this can ruin the whole car. It'll damage the side skirts, the doors, the panels, like, because it won't be holding in the right area. So I'll show you guys how to align it in just a second. So what you want to do is search up on Google where my car's lifting point is. So basically, let's say you drive a 2014 Honda Civic, you're going to search up lifting points of 2014 Honda Civic. And if you need help finding them, you can just put your hands underneath here until you feel it. So I feel mine right over here. So I'm going to move my jack right over here. And then I'm going to double check when it slowly starts going up. And another way you can check for your lifting points is by using your camera. So I'll show you guys right now. I'm just gonna put this camera right underneath the car and you guys should be able to see it. So now that you know that your jack is aligned with your lifting point, you can start twisting this with your fingers until you feel resistance. Because once you feel resistance, that's how you know you're on the lifting point. So right now it's easy to twist. But right now I'm starting to feel a little bit of resistance because this is underneath the car now. So now we're going to be using the other tool. And also don't forget to double check. Make sure that you're on the lifting point with your camera. As you can see over here, it's perfect. So now what we're going to do, we're going to grab this tool, stick it right through over here. And we'll use this to help us lift the car. So this part can take a while, but it's okay because it's the only way of doing it when you're stranded. So we're just gonna keep on doing this and then I'll come back once I got the car lifted up. So guys, I've been doing this for about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit less. And now the way of telling if your car is high enough, you have to move the wheel like this and you see how it's turning. It means it's off the ground, right? So now we're ready to actually take off the wheel. So now that we've already loosened our lug nuts, all we have to do is use our fingers and we can take them off. So that's one. And when you take them off, put them upright on the ground like this to make sure that you don't lose them. And now I'm just gonna speed up myself taking off the rest. So over here, I realized that the last lug nut was too tight to just twist off with my fingers, but that's no problem. If that happens to you guys, all we need to do is grab the tool from earlier to help us crack it open again. Alright guys, so now all 5 lug nuts are off, and all we have to do now is pull this wheel out of the spindle. All right, so now we've taken off our wheel. As you can see over here, we've got our lug nuts over here. It's time to put the spare wheel on. So our spare wheel is in the trunk as well. It's just underneath this. So I'm gonna lift this up and show you guys. So there it is. Now I'm gonna take it out and show you guys how to put it on. So guys, this one is locked in, but it's no problem. All you gotta do is spin this until it comes out. So now I've gotten this lock out. I'm just gonna put that aside and then pull the wheel out. So now I've got my spare wheel over here. All I've got to do now is lift it up and place it onto the spindle over here. All right guys, now I have my wheel on my spindle, and all we have to do now is put all 5 lug nuts back on. Now when we're putting the lug nuts back on, it's a little bit different. So something different that we have to do, we're gonna start from the bottom and we're gonna apply them in a star pattern. So we're gonna go across from here, we're gonna go here, then here, then here, then here. All right guys, so we have our tire back on now. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the car down and then tighten the lug nuts after. So right now, when we were putting the car up, we were tightening it. So now we're gonna go left to loosen it until we get all the way back to the ground. All right guys, so now our car is low enough. All we have to do now is pull out the jack and we'll put this away later. So now we got to tighten these lug nuts. So now we're going to use this tool again, and instead of loosening them, we're going to be tightening them. So we're going to set it up like this. And we're going to tighten them, and I'll show you guys how to know how much to do it later. Just make sure before you do this, you tighten them as good as you can with your fingers only. And then right now we're going to go like this a couple times. Until you can't do it anymore with your hands. Then you're gonna step on it once with the same pressure that you used to loosen it. So one more time to get the same pressure. So there we go. Now this one's good, and then we're gonna do the same thing on all the other ones. All right guys, so now all of our lug nuts are tightened. We don't need this anymore. We're just gonna put everything back to where it was, all of our tools, and our wheel is good to go. Now, when you're driving on spare tires, one thing I recommend is to try to stay below the speed of 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles per hour if you're in the US, and you should be good. So if you found this tutorial helpful, please leave a like and comment and subscribe so I can keep on making videos like this. See you guys next time.